All right, so we are going to create a scene, a digital watercolor scene from the Great Barrier Reef here in Sketches Pro. If you can see what I've done already, I have mainly fish in my Great Barrier Reef, but you can include any marine life that would be there. Do some research. I know you just watched the video. You could have sea turtles, you could have sharks, you could have eels. Give at least 3 different marine life, and be sure to add coral and plant life. All right, so we're going to start with a blank canvas. So I'm going to go back to my gallery. I'm going to open up a new one. All right, and we are going to start by creating a drawing. We're going to go to our layers palette. I just want to make sure that you know how to use this. Oops. We are going to work on this first layer. There's also a layer underneath it, and that's our background layer, and we are not going to draw on that layer. So the red bar means that that is the current layer that we are drawing on. So I'm going to come over here, and I am going to use my marker tool, but you could also use your pencil tool or your micron tool. I'm going to make sure that I have black selected, and I'm going to draw all my outlines of my composition, my scene from the Great Barrier Reef on one layer. And then we're going to add our watercolor on a second layer. So I'm just going to start with the main marine life. I'm going to put that big kind of, I think it's like an angelfish. And I'm going to start with I'm making it really nice and big because it's the main thing in my picture. You do not have to draw this. You can draw, oops, I don't like that, sorry. I have that fin, and I'm going to come up like that. That's better. I'm going to add a nice big eye. And again, you're going to be drawing different sea life. So I'm going to just click ahead, do this pretty fast. You do not have to do it as fast. You always have to, you don't have to do it as fast as I'm doing it. These are the different swatches of color. I think that's good enough. All right, so if I take 2 fingers, I touch my iPad at the same time, and I pinch in, you're going to see the edge of your paper or your canvas, and that shows me where I want to draw my sand. So my sand is not going to be way down here, right? I want it to be a little higher, and wherever it goes behind our main fish, because that coral reef is not flat, right? And then let's maybe start adding some coral. Okay, so maybe I have some that comes up here. I'm going to go over these lines for a second. And maybe I have some coral down here. And you guys can look up reference for different types of coral. I'll put the sand in here. Maybe over here. And again, I'm going fast. You guys take your time. Now, if you see up here, I drew right over my line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 fingers on my iPad at the same time, and I'm going to zoom in, pinch out. I'm going to get my eraser tool, and I'm just going to erase those black lines because I don't want them. And if you want to make your eraser a little bigger, you can pull it up. And maybe right in there. Zoom out. Erase that. Because that sand line is behind my coral. Okay, that looks good. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to see the edges of my papers. 2 fingers touching, pinch in. And I think that I need to add something up here, maybe up here, smaller fish, sea turtle. You guys decide what you want to put on. I think I'm going to do a smaller fish. So I'm going to do this. And you guys can look at the different type of tropical fish. Maybe over here I have another one. You could put crabs in, you could put snails, maybe up here. Actually, maybe this one. A little bit different. Okay, we'll worry about color later. Okay, so there's my drawing, and I'm happy with it. You guys take your time, make sure that you like your drawing. Once you like it, you're going to go up to here, and you're going to click on your layers icon one more time. All right, you're going to come down here and add one more layer, so I'm going to click on that. Now, my layer is above my black line outline layer. I want to change that. So I'm going to click on that layer, empty layer with the red. It's going to look like it's floating. You're going to pull it down underneath your drawing. Don't let it merge. Let go of your finger. And now it is underneath your black outline. So for this one, because I typically do this project with watercolor, I would like you to play around with this watercolor brush. Okay, so let's click on that. And there's a lot of different really cool techniques we can do. Let's click this brush down here. It's going to make a wet on wet type of technique. You want to come over and let's start with, our ocean. So let's come up here and I'm going to click on this blue, but maybe I don't like that blue. I want to add a different blue. Actually, I kind of really do like that blue, so I'm going to hit add. I'm going to zoom in, 2 fingers, zoom in a little. Actually, let's zoom out. And I am going to just see how big. Now, it's way too small of a brush. 2 finger tap is undo. Let's bring that brush up. And we kind of want to go around our fish with the watercolor. So you can zoom in, all right, and go around it. Now the one thing that's really cool about this watercolor brush is that if I want to change the color of the water, like it's getting down a little deeper, I can click here, click another blue, and let's see how big my brush is. Let's bring it down a little bit. And see how it just blends with that? It's so pretty. That's kind of what I wanted you to kind of play with a little bit. Go around these fish. Now, a lot of times I'll have you just paint a whole background and do something different. But don't worry if you're getting too close to those edges. It's just really pretty. Okay, so we're going to go all around. Our watercolor. If you're getting really close to your lines, so you can go right over your lines, but because we're underneath them, you don't ruin them. I'm going to hit 2 fingers tap to undo, or you can also always hit the undo button up there. going right up to my sand. And I'm going to go with a darker blue. See how it blends really beautifully. Okay, so basically, I'm not going to show you how I paint the whole thing, but what you want to do, if we click on these layers up here again, all of our colors are on this layer, and all of our drawing are on this layer, and we're going to keep it like that. Okay, so I would go ahead and start painting in your fish, then your coral. Maybe you want to do your sand the very last. Okay, play around with different techniques. All right, here I've skipped ahead to the end of the project, just so you don't have to watch me paint the whole thing. Look how I blended different colors in here. I did some blending up in this fish, so play around with those watercolors. In the background, while the paint was, like after I had just done the ocean, I took my brush and I tapped with my Logitech. You can play around with effects. It looked like you would actually hit it with a wet paintbrush. Remember that layers are your friend. If you come up here, you should have 2 layers that you drew on. One is just your outline. The second one is all your color. Now, if you want to see one or the other, you can just click on the little icon that looks like an eye to turn it on or off. So if I wanted to turn off my color, I could just turn it off. You see it's still there. I didn't delete it. And I'm going to click it again to see it. Do the same thing with the top one, and you can see, and that's actually a really cool look without the black line. But also remember that whatever layer has the red bar, that is the layer you are working on. Okay, and in sketches, as always, when you're finished, go up to the 3 dots. Okay, you want to click that up arrow. We would like to put it into Seesaw, so slide till you see the Seesaw and click on that. Once it's in Seesaw, please put it in your art folder. Okay, and also when you click on the 4 squares to go back to your gallery, it should automatically put a copy of this into your Photos app. So have fun, be creative, bright colors, try using the contrast with the warm against the cool colors to make it really pop. Use lots of beautiful colors in the coral. Try some other marine life other than the fish like I've done, and have fun. I know you guys are going to do an excellent job.